justice for all. The prayer this morning will be offered by the good delegate from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. After the Navy-Notre Dame game this fall, I was walking north on Russell Street, and there were several mids. I asked them if they knew that George Washington had resigned his commission as the General of the Continental Army in the State House near where they went to the Naval Academy. They had no idea. So I told them that Washington resigned his commission and tipped his cap to the Congress to make the point to establish the precedent that the military answered to the civilians. And if I have that opportunity again, I will also tell them that they should walk across the hall to learn as well about the contributions in this state and in this country of Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. Amen.
Amen. Quorum call.
Madam Speaker. She's there.
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. There being 132 members present, the House is now in session. The clerk will read the journal from the previous day.
Annapolis, Maryland, February the 21st, 2023.
Recognizing the Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move so much be considered the reading of the journal.
So ordered. Petitions, memorials, and other papers. We have House Resolution. Reading clerk, read the resolution.
Charles. Which one is that? Okay. Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Mel Wood in recognition of the celebration of your 60th anniversary providing support services to individuals with disabilities in Maryland. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 22nd day of February 2023.
Madam Speaker.
Recognizing the sponsor of the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, today, again, I have a lot of visitors this week. Today is a very important day. I believe that one of the main reasons that I am here working with you is that as a child, my mother was a member of Jack and Jill, which is a mother's organization, and we have other members that are members now. And I am currently a member, but Jack and Jill is a...
Excuse me. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Jack and Jill is a nationwide organization of 262 chapters and has over 50,000 family members. Today with us is the teens of the Columbia, Maryland chapter who are in the gallery, and I would ask them to please rise. In front of us, standing by Madam Speaker, is our Columbia, Maryland chapter president, Mother Cynthia Bell, and a member of the teen group, my baby cousin, Sienna Oates. And so I was saying, as a child, Jack and Jill instills volunteerism, civic responsibility, and giving back to your community. Each month, there are activities for the children that have specific thrusts that they must complete, but each task, each activity that they do has a component of volunteerism and giving back. And today is the Columbia, Maryland Teens Chapter's first Advocacy Day, so you will see them in your committee rooms this afternoon. Please welcome them, the Columbia, Maryland Teen Jack and Jill Chapter. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
And the clerk read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Jack and Jill of America Incorporated in recognition of your exceptional service and philanthropic worth in supporting the children and families of Howard County. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 22nd day of February 2023.
Recognizing the sponsor of the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, we celebrate Melwood. It's their 60th anniversary. Melwood has helped communities by bringing employment opportunities to individuals with disabilities while providing a wide range of services to federal, state, and local governments. In 1980, Melwood became one of the first nonprofit agencies to hold a contract under the Ability One program. Today, Melwood serves federal customers at 60 federal sites and provides competitive integrated employment, job placement, job training, life skills for independence, and support services for more than 2,500 people each year in Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. Melwood's expanded programs incorporate a summer youth program for children with disabilities and their siblings, veteran services that include women veteran PTSD holistic retreat programs. The Maryland General Assembly hereby commends Melwood on the occasion of its 60th anniversary and presents Larissa Kautz, President and CEO of Melwood, and members Tyler Wilson and Mark Henry as an expression of the General Assembly's admiration. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Will the reading clerk please read the resolution in full?
Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Melwood in recognition of the celebration of your 60th anniversary providing support services to individuals with disabilities in Maryland. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this 22nd day of February 2023.
Introduction of House bills. The clerk will read the bills and their committee assignments.
House Bill 1271, Delegate Patterson, House Rules by order of Sylvia Seigert, Chief Clerk.
Clerk will read the bond initiatives and the committee assignment.
Introductory House Bond Initiatives number 41, referred to appropriations.
Report of the Committee on Environment and Transportation, report number 1. The clerk will read the bills and the committees they are referred to.
House Bill 889, retail service stations, electric vehicle charging stations, and property tax credit for service station conversions, re-referred to Economic Matters and Ways and Means.
So ordered. Report of the Committee on Judiciary, report number 1. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 66, Circuit Courts and District Court dishonored checks, service charges, favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or to its title? Seeing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the first.
House Bill 126, Criminal Law, Visual Surveillance with Prurient Intent, Private Place and Minor Victim, favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill as to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 159, Criminal Procedure, Warrantless Arrest, Straw Purchase Participant, favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Madam Speaker.
Opposed?
Madam Speaker.
Recognizing the gentlelady from Prince George's.
I have a question for the Chair of the Judiciary in reference to this bill.
Well, let's get the report adopted. Let me get through what I have to say first, okay? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill as to its title? Recognizing the gentlelady from Prince George.
Would the Chair of the Judiciary rise for a question, please? Floor Leader.
Certainly.
Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Could you explain the bill how the warrantless search procedure would work in this instance?
Sure. Maryland has a law that currently allows police officers to make an arrest without a search warrant if the officer has probable cause to believe, and there's a list of crimes that a certain type of crime is happening, and you can see some of the reason for it is if there's belief that there's going to be destruction of evidence, or they're not going to be able to apprehend the person if they have to go to court and make a warrant application. So that's the reason for it, and this would add to that list of crimes that if you are a straw purchase participant, in other words, you are trying to purchase a firearm for someone who is not allowed to purchase a firearm, like a criminal.
If I may.
Yes, go ahead.
And what would be the reason why the police officers wouldn't be able to get a warrant in this situation? Because if the person purchased the gun, they would have had to do a background check, and you would have their address and locations where to find them. Wouldn't that be correct?
It's unclear to me where in the process an officer might try to make a warrantless arrest. This might be something's happening more of the moment, and I think the evidence destruction would be the reason in this instance that you might want a little bit more swift action. High likelihood of evidence removal when you're talking about an illegal firearm. The whole case is the gun.
Madam Speaker, if it would be okay with the Vice Chair, could we special order this for 2 days so I could look at it a little further?
Certainly.
Okay. Question for the House is a special order HB 159 to the appropriate time tomorrow. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. HB 159 has been special ordered until the appropriate time tomorrow. Clerk will read next bill.
House Bill 174, Criminal Procedure, Victims of Sexually Assaultive Behavior, favorable.
Question for the House is adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 207, Courts Prohibited Liability Agreements, Recreational Facilities. Favor the amendments. Amendment number 1.
Recognizing the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move so much be the reading of the amendments.
So ordered.
Amendment number 1 adds co-sponsors. Amendment number 2 clarifies the definition of recreational facility and also specifies the provisions under the bill may not be interpreted to affect, extend, or limit the liability of governmental entities under the Maryland Tort Claims Act or the Local Government Tort Claims Act. Move the amendments.
Question for the House is the adoption of the amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The amendments have been adopted. Question now is the adoption of the favorable report as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any additional amendments to the bill or to its title? Seeing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 212, Criminal Law, Indecent Exposure Within the Sight of a Minor. Favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 215, Real Property, Limitations on Summoning Law Enforcement or Emergency Services, Prohibition. Favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Madam Speaker.
Favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or to its title, recognizing the gentlelady from Baltimore County?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Would the floor leader rise, please?
Floor
Good
leader.
morning. Many questions about this bill, but one in particular would be on page 5 of the bill. It says that the governing body of a county or municipality may not enact a local law or ordinance. That, and then a list of things. How was MACO with this and MML? I mean, are they good with the state saying you can't enact a law?
Yeah, they did not have any opposition to that.
Okay. Thank you. There's other questions about the bill. I encourage all my colleagues to read this bill. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from the Eastern Shore.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Could the floor leader rise for a question?
Sure.
Actually, could we special order the bill so I can review it for the purpose of amendment?
That's okay. Till
thanks.
tomorrow.
Of course. Thank you.
Question for the House, a special order HB 215 to the appropriate time tomorrow. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. The bill has been special ordered to the appropriate time tomorrow. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 244, Estates and Trust, Registers of Wills, Electronic Filing and Signatures. Favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 297, Criminal Law, Victims of Child Sex Trafficking and Human Trafficking, Safe Harbor and Service Response. Favorable.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Special order calendar Special order calendar for HB 86. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 86, disclosure of tax information, Maryland Small Business Retirement Savings Board authorization. Favor report is amended, adopted.
Recognizing the orderer of the special order, gentlelady from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There is an amendment on the way, so is this the last bill in the calendar?
Yes.
Would we be able to special order this one more day? It is not my amendment. Mr. Floor Leader, we spoke, and I want to publicly thank you for working without my questions on this bill, but because I have the floor, because I special ordered it, another person on the floor has ordered an amendment and would like the opportunity to offer that if this is the end of business, perhaps until tomorrow.
Floor Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have had an opportunity to speak with the gentleman that is offering an amendment, and I would not accept the amendment, so I would not want to hold this bill another day.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will yield to my colleague from Calvert County.
Gentleman from Calvert.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So then I have some questions then on the bill for the floor leader, if I may.
Floor Leader.
Today?
Yes, sir.
So there is a Maryland Small Business Retirement Savings Board, and that board is a state-run agency. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that state-run agency is responsible for presumably contacting businesses of all sizes, usually small businesses, that don't themselves have retirement plans for their employees. Is that correct?
Correct. The intent of the bill is legislation to increase awareness for the program to make it easier for businesses to participate in the program itself.
Gotcha. So my understanding is, at least from the businesses in Calvert County, they're receiving notices from this state organization, state employees and so forth, as to whether their employees, the employer's employees, want to participate in this program, and then the employees have to affirmatively opt out. They're assumed opted in unless they opt out. Is that correct?
Yeah, so they are outreach to businesses anywhere from 2 to 3 times, as well as they have the option, if they receive emails, to be able to opt out of those emails.
Okay. So now we go to the bill. Now that we know what this board does, now we go to the bill, and the bill says that tax information can be shared by the comptroller concerning the employer to a third party. Is that correct?
You're correct.
Okay, so that's correct. And the tax information that would be shared by the comptroller to the third party, which is not a state agency, would include, among other things, the employer identification number, the name of the business entity, the small business, the business address, the mailing address, the business entity contact name, email address, phone number, and pretty much anything that the comptroller feels like they can provide to that board that's not currently prohibited under federal law. Does that sound right?
That's all it would do.
Okay. So my concern with the bill and the amendment that I ordered, and I'm kind of shocked that the amendment's not here, and that is an issue, by the way, is that the employer has not authorized the comptroller to share its information with a third party that is not a state agency. And so my amendment was really simple, namely that the comptroller needs to get written permission from the employer to share any information with any third party that's not a state agency. That was a really simple common sense amendment. I'm just curious why that's the problem.
Listen, there are other states that do the same thing that we're doing right now. States like California, Colorado, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, and other states. Once again, the intent of the bill is to create awareness of the program. This is a new program here in the state. Right now, we only have 12,000 people that have entered into the program. The data that is entered would cause a hardship on the comptroller's office should we ask for a waiver to be opt-in or opt-out. There is no other programs that we do here in the state that has an opt-in, opt-out measure, and for those reasons, we would not accept the amendment.
We're talking about the employer's tax information that you're sharing with a third party. So, you know, this is apples to oranges. We're not talking about sharing the employer's just their business address. We're talking about sharing very private, personal information that the employer has not given the state the authority to share. I mean, when I file my taxes for my small business to the state of Maryland, my assumption is that it's filed blindly and that no one gets to see my name, and that's all, you know, blind and so forth. This is actually opening it up and saying, oh no, we want you to see everything.
Yeah, the information that is provided is simply the employer's information. It does not include any financial information, anything like that, or everything that is given is already public knowledge.
And how about the concerns about data? Since this information is being shared with a third party, and that third party is not a state agency, it's actually a private company, is that correct?
That's correct.
And that private company is then using that information to presumably market this program to the small businesses. What's stopping that third party from using that information and sharing it amongst their other companies and using it to market other products for which the employer never authorized the state to provide that information to begin with?
Yeah, the comptroller's office has the authority to provide limitations on any information that is given. So we're entrusting that the comptroller will be able to do their job.
Got it. And it looks to me like the amendment is here, if I'm correct. So I believe the clerk has the amendment, and it's the amendment that we discussed, and I do want to offer the amendment, irrespective of, because I think this is important, because I do think this is going to be a problem. I do. And so, Madam Speaker, I have an amendment at the desk. It's amendment number 0086/8930221/1.
Amendment number 1.
Move so much be considered the reading of the amendment, Madam Speaker.
So ordered.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a really common sense amendment. Really should be a friendly amendment, and that is you need to get the employer's consent before you share the employer's tax information with a third party that is a non-state agency. It's a third-party private contractor. Remember what we're sharing. The comptroller, you file your taxes as your small business with the comptroller. The comptroller is like, oh, well, we want to share this information with a third party. The information is shared with the third party, and that information is the business name, the business address, the federal employee identification number. Identification number, the business address, the email of the business, the contact names and phone numbers, and any other information that they can think of that they can provide legally under federal law. So this amendment is very simple. It simply says you need to get the employer's consent before you share their information with a third party. It seems kind of commonsensical to me. It's a very, very dangerous precedent for this state to start sharing personal information with third parties without the consent of the entity or the individual. So for all those reasons, Madam Speaker, I move the amendment. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Yield.
I yield.
Floor leader. Oh, you yield?
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just for the benefit of the body and so many new members, you should all have your floor systems up, and I just want to explain at the very top of the blue bar, it has the amendment. You can just click on the link to be able to read the amendment, and if you're in the bill and you click on the amendments tab, the amendment that the gentleman has introduced will also be there as well. So if you want to follow along, that's how you do that. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Listen, I think I said it before that we will reject this amendment simply because of the reasons that I stated before. The data that is shared is not any financial data or anything that is pertinent that would impede the business itself. The data that is given is similar to data that is done by other states, and the intent of the bill is basically to create an awareness program for business to participate into this. If there is an opportunity that the comptroller's office can always reject what is being sent out at any given time. And I ask the body to stick with the committee and reject this amendment and pass House Bill 86.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Anne Arundel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand in support of this amendment. Now that I look at it, we're giving out an employer's identification number. When you start a business, that EIN is equivalent to your Social Security number. So now, if we are going to provide a third-party company with our EIN number, the address, and every important piece of information about a business, you're essentially, a lot of people start LLCs, and an LLC is a pass-through. So when you're talking about this, you are now providing to a third party all the information that is needed for a business to apply for a loan, apply for a grant, apply for everything that you could apply for as an individual. All of that private information is now being disclosed to a third party. If it were to fall into another company's hand or another person's hands, they can easily use this nefariously to apply for loans, to totally wreck a company by getting loans or buying other businesses or buying another company. This is a dangerous piece of legislation. I applaud the intent of it, but to provide this information is dangerous and can lead to serious consequences for many of our Maryland small businesses. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker.
Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Listen, EIN numbers are protected from the third party, so that information is already safeguarded. Once again, the Comptroller's Office will be able to withdraw anybody at any given time on the information that is shared. And once again, we reject the amendment.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Southern Maryland.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Could the floor leader please rise for a question?
Floor leader.
Hey, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything in the bill that makes it illegal or prohibits the Maryland Small Business Retirement Savings Board or the Comptroller's Office from sharing this information?
No.
Nothing? Okay. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Gentlelady from Hartford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Could the floor leader answer a quick question about sort of the way this might work? So let's say I have a business and this third party contacts me. What happens? Do they contact me once annually? How does it work?
Right. So right now, you could be contacted either by email or direct mail, anytime from 2 to 3 times per month, or 6 times out of a year.
Wow. Okay. And is there an opt out for me as the business owner?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Is there an opt out option? Like, is there at the bottom? You know how you get a
Yes.
text message and you can like opt out of the texts?
Yes, it is.
You can opt out?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Gentlelady from Hartford.
Madam Speaker, I'm just going to say this. It's not, basically, we have a real problem with identity theft in the state. We have a problem with seniors being constantly bombarded by emails and phone calls. And I don't know how they know whether you're a senior or you're a graduate. I think I think we should try to protect data, and we should not be giving data away. And so I would say this is a really good amendment, because we have problems all over the place, and as far as identity theft and people being bombarded with untruths so people can get into their money one way or the other. So I support this amendment wholeheartedly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
On the amendment. Question before the House is the adoption of the amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
No. Roll call, Madam Speaker.
Gentlemen, support. Roll call. Clerk.
Madam Speaker.
Sorry.
Madam Speaker. Yep.
Is everyone recorded their vote? Clerk clerk will take the call. 99 in the affirmative. Negative? There being 99 votes in the negative, the amendment fails. Are there any additional amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered, printed for third reading. That ends the work at the desk. Committee announcements. Appropriations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Appropriations Full Committee will not meet today, but please listen for subcommittee announcements.
Judiciary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, House Judiciary Committee will be meeting at 1 o'clock today for bill hearings.
Environment and Transportation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Environment and Transportation Committee will continue public hearings at 1 p.m.
Ways and Means.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Ways and Means Committee will continue public bill hearings at 1 p.m. Please listen up for subcommittee announcements.
Economic Matters.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Economic Matters Committee will continue its meetings at 1 p.m. Again, hearings at 1 p.m.
Health and Government Operations.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, and thank you. The Health and Government Operations Committee will meet at 1 p.m. for hearings. Thank you.
Any subcommittee announcements? Real property.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Housing and Real Property Subcommittee will meet today via Zoom at approximately 4 p.m. Keep your ears up.
Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Education Subcommittee Ways and Means will meet at noon today, or in the event that the Revenue Subcommittee runs long, directly following Revenue Subcommittee.
Health and Social Services.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Health and Social Services Subcommittee will meet today at 1 o'clock in room 150. We only have one budget in front of us, but it's a big one, the Developmental Disabilities Administration.
I don't know which one you're in. Civil Law.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Civil Law will meet after the floor today at 10:45.
Okay. Revenues.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Revenues will meet immediately after floor session today.
Okay. Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Environment Subcommittee will meet today after bill hearings by Zoom. Thank you.
Capital.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Capital Budget Subcommittee, House Appropriations, will meet at 4 p.m. today.
Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Education and Economic Development Subcommittee of Appropriations will be meeting at 1 p.m. for 2 budget hearings. Thank you.
Public Safety.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Public Safety and Administration Subcommittee will meet at 1 p.m. in room 145.
Family Law.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Family Law and Juvenile Law Subcommittee will meet at 11:30 today.
Government Op.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Government Operations and Health Facilities Subcommittee will meet virtually at 11 o'clock today.
Okay. All right. Any delegation announcements?
Madam Speaker.
Carol.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Carroll County delegation will meet tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. via Zoom. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Prince George's.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Prince George's House Delegation Bi-County Committee will meet tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. via Zoom. An agenda will be sent out. There's quite a bit on our docket, so please be prepared.
Hartford County.
Hartford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hartford County delegation will meet tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. via Zoom. Thank you.
Prince George's.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Prince George's County Law Enforcement Subcommittee will meet tomorrow morning at 8:45. Start by Zoom.
All right. Any caucus announcements? Legislative Black Caucus.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland, colleagues, as you were walking into the building and into our chamber, you heard the sweet, beautiful musical sounds of the Morgan State Choir. And I would like to thank Madam Speaker and the State House Trust and the Senate President for helping to coordinate for today, as part of Black History Month, the performance of the Morgan State Choir. I also want to mention to everyone that Morgan State Choir, under the direction of Director Eric Conway, has actually performed on every continent in the world except Antarctica. So on behalf of the Legislative Black Caucus, just want to ask everyone to join me in just giving a round of applause and a thanks to the Morgan State Choir. Madam Speaker, one more thing finally. To the members of Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland, we will not be meeting tomorrow morning since we had our joint meeting today. Thank you.
Veterans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Veterans Caucus of the Maryland General Assembly will meet tomorrow virtually via Zoom, 9 a.m.
Any other caucuses? I don't see anybody else. Black History Moment. Be presented by the delegate from Prince George's County.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, you all should have a portrait on your desk of the Honorable Mabel Evelyn Hosel Hubbard. She was the first Black female judge appointed to any bench in the state of Maryland. She was born December 22nd, 1936. She was a school teacher and later in life decided to go to law school. In 1975, she received her Juris Doctorate from the University of Maryland. 1 year later, she clerked for the city solicitor of Baltimore. And just a short time after that, she was appointed to the bench. Almost historic to have, not only as the first woman, but probably one of the fastest people to be appointed to the bench with such little judicial experience. So she has made many strides in history. She's laid the foundation for many Black women lawyers in this state, as well as many Black women judges. Currently, we have 3 on the Supreme Court of Maryland, including our first Afro-Latina, the Honorable Angela Eves. So I just want to direct your attention to the document. You can read more about her there. And thank you for this time, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Any personal or guest announcements? Gentlelady from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today is Maryland Independent Higher Education Day here, and I know we may have some students in the gallery. There will be about 100 students that attend one of the 13 state-aided member institutions of the Maryland Independent College and University Association, sometimes referred to as MICUA. So I just wanted to bring greetings on behalf of the Maryland Independent schools that are here. I don't know if any are still here to be recognized. Please stand up so we can give you your flowers. Madam Speaker, I have one other announcement. This is also another opportunity to address some really great visitors that we have here representing the Be More Youth Arts Advocacy Council. This is a program of Arts Every Day, and they're spending the day with Maryland Citizens for the Arts around our campus today, asking for support and championing funding for the Maryland State's Arts Council. So also want to give a shout out to those young people if they're with us still today. Stand up so we can also say howdy.
Gentleman from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Permission to use the delegates' names?
Permission granted.
Thank you. On behalf of Delegates Cardin and Pastura, please join me in welcoming students from the Green Spring Montessori School of Baltimore County who are up in the gallery visiting the legislature and the State House today.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Hartford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I have a wonderful young man here today. He's one of my interns. He's overcome a great deal to be here. This is the first time he's had a chance to join us this session. An incredibly hard worker, very dedicated, and has done a great job of supporting the folks in Hartford and Cecil County. Please recognize my friend and my intern, Ethan Heversey.
Madam Speaker.
Gentlelady from Prince George's.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Speaker. It gives me a great honor and pleasure to introduce the Oxon Hill High School AP Government students here in the gallery, and their instructors, Mr. Brown and Mr. Wallace. Would you join me in welcoming them as they stand, please?
Gentleman from Southern Maryland.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This morning I'd like to recognize a number of guests of mine from Southern Maryland's ARC, led by Lindy Waldemeyer. There's a lot of actors up there, and they can't see me, and I can't see them, but they're up there. If you please welcome them, I'd appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Gentlelady from Montgomery.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know we've moved along in the calendar, but I'm wondering if you could indulge me in a caucus announcement.
Yes.
All right. Members of the Women's Legislative Caucus, we have our breakfast with the governor tomorrow at Government House. It's at 8 a.m. sharp. Thank you.
Gentleman from Montgomery.
Madam Speaker, thank you. And the good delegate from St. Mary's talked a little bit about his ARC chapter that was here, but as a person with a developmental disability, I'm thrilled to welcome my people to Annapolis for Maryland Developmental Disabilities Day. You'll see them around all day, and please give them a warm welcome. Thank you.
Young lady from Montgomery.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Permission to use the delegates' names?
Permission granted.
I would ask the body to help me and Delegates Crutchfield and Stewart welcome some of the most active voters in the state of Maryland. In the heart of District 19 sits Leisure World, and it is the 3 highest voting precincts in the state. And they are here today. Their advocacy committee from the Leisure World Democratic Club is here today. Please help us welcome them. Thank you.
Gentleman, Anne Arundel.
Anne Arundel.
Because you're all over the place.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Permission to use delegate's name?
Permission granted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Delegate Taylor and I would like to welcome our friends from District 21, Bob and Pat Groves, and Bob Ware from District 33. They're in the gallery. Thank you for coming.
I don't see anyone else. Okay. Quorum call before adjournment.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their presence? Clerk will take the call. There being 136 members present, the House is still in session. Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stands adjourned until Thursday, February 23rd at 10 a.m.